Ladies and gentlemen, it is finally time. The newest trailer for part 3 of the 1000-Year Blood War arc anime is upon us at last. And of course, we're going to watch it together. I mean, that's kind of tradition at this point, and honestly, live reacting to the series has become one of my absolute favourite things about the anime being around. I debated staying up until 3 in the morning to catch it early, but I figured you would want me at my best for this, so I'm here, I'm refreshed, and I am very excited for what they have to show. But of course, this particular trailer drop feels a little different to usual. After all, we've been waiting for what feels like a very long time for this. Part 2 is long gone in the rearview mirror, and I think I speak for everyone when I say that we are all extremely ready for Part 3 and what it has to offer. And it promises to be a big one, as the anime finally tackles the crux of the story of the Soul King, the assault on the royal palace, and yes, some of the biggest battles yet to come of the arc. There is a true feeling of anticipation in the air. This season will feature the most new content yet, with more deviations from the source material than ever, more changes and additions, the scope and magnitude of which were only truly teased in part 2. So, without further ado, I've rambled for long enough. It's time to take a look at what they've been cooking. I'm, in case you can't tell, very excited to see this. For the most part, while parts 1 and 2 were excellent in their own way, we've been treading water. And now, as the story escalates towards its climax, I want to see what's new. I want to see what Kubo and the team can bring to the table when they are truly let loose, and given the opportunity to do what they want to do and tell the story they want to tell, completely unshackled. As always, we'll watch the trailer through once, totally blind, and then likely a couple more times as well, before we break it down a little bit and try and pick out some cool moments, identify some new scenes. But as before, make sure to stay tuned to the channel in the coming days too for a follow-up frame-by-frame deep dive analysis. And of course, this will be a full spoiler reaction. I'll be watching and discussing it from the perspective of someone who has read the entire source material, so just be aware of that. Anyway, let's do this at long last. It is time for the full trailer for the 1000-Year Blood War arc Part 3. Here we go. Now it says here official trailer 4. Is this really the 4th trailer for Part 3 alone? That doesn't sound right at all, but I mean, I assume it probably is. I assume it has to be, but that just feels a little bit weird. Anyway, let's do this thing. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. That's a lot of Bankai. Presumably everyone who said Bankai in the 1000-Year Blood War arc so far. This is the new opening. Sounds great. Quite upbeat, I would say, immediately. What's with all these Bankai? Why are there so many Bankai? This is kind of cool. It's taken us through every Bankai in the 1000-Year Blood War arc anime, presumably, I would guess, leading up to the big 2 Bankai in this season. One of which is particularly anticipated, I would say. Yeah, the song is kind of upbeat for what's actually going to be happening in the story. Oh, here we go. Oh, there it is, immediately straight off the bat. Oh, okay. KYORAKU'S Bankai looks amazing. This is new. That has to be, I know I've said this a million times, but that has to be Ichigo versus Uryū, a proper fight. Because Yūhar isn't likely to be firing arrows at him like that. Oh, Ichibei versus Yūhar, the end of that Futentai Satsurio. That shot of Yūhar is straight from the first opening. That's a new shot. Oh god, there's going to be so much to talk about. Ukitake and Mimihagi. That's whatever that Renji scene is, that's brand new. Mayuri's new Bankai. Uryū versus Senjumaru. Oh god, there's a lot to talk about. What the hell is that? Pernida! My boy. Oh my god. Nemu. They're taking us through the entire season, basically. October, there you go. Wow, okay. That's kind of cool, feels quite cyclical with part 1. It does mean I have to record over Christmas. This is cool, this is what, Yūhar and Hashwolf, I assume? I thought at first it was Yūhar voice being all weird after he'd absorbed the Soul King, but no, I think it's the 2 of them. Wow, okay. Started kind of slowly out of the gate. We had a lot of Bankai to get through for some reason. All of that to build up to KYORAKU'S Bankai. They are really raising the anticipation for that, aren't they? Let's roll it again. I want to see it again. There's already so much new stuff in here. Hearing everyone saying Bankai like that, that's very awesome. What is this? This is like a celebration of Bankai. I'm telling you at the start, that is actually Ichigo versus Uryū, an extended fight, because they do clash ever so briefly in this part when they attempt to take down Yhwach in the Soul King's throne room. This little Bankai montage is good because it gives me some breathing room to think before the trailer starts again. Yeah, so I think we are actually going to get that. I think we're actually good. So Uryū's going to fight Senjumaru and potentially have a proper fight with Ichigo as well. Dude's going to be busy in this season. There are certain scenes and shots that I really want to get to, though. Really weird, really interesting looking stuff. Right, here we go. I like this new song. It is surprisingly upbeat. I think the ending was there as well. I completely skipped over it. Oh, seeing KYORAKU lift the two blades and say Bankai is very cool. Futentai Satsurio looking awesome. Yeah, that shot of Yhwach is straight out of the first opening. So I wonder if Ichigo versus Yhwach is going to be extended as well. That kind of looked to me like he was maybe going to use Getsuga Jujisho. Yeah, whatever this Renji scene is, that's completely brand new. Mayuri's Bankai is looking creepy. What is that? What is that shot? Also, they spoil what Pernida is in this trailer. Pernida doesn't appear to be CGI in that shot either, which is good, because I was a little concerned it would be. I imagine with Pernida, I'm hoping the main arm will be drawn, but I can imagine the other clones will be CG. Wow, this is cool. This is creepy, this poem at the end here. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Right, let's do it one more time. We're going to skip past the Bankai recap this time. Dive straight into it. I do wonder if there are going to be any more new Bankai. Also, no reference at all to the big man himself. Aizen is not in this trailer. Yeah, Ichigo, that's got to be Ichigo versus Uryū. The black and red of Futentai Satsurio looks awesome. I do kind of wonder how they're going to extend, if they're going to extend that fight, Ichibei versus Yhwach or not. Yeah, I think Ichigo's about to use Getsuga Jujisho. What is that shot of the Schutzstaffel all lifting their arms up into the sky? We've got a little brief snippet of the vice captains fighting the eyeball monsters. Wow, the lighting in the Pernida fight is super dark. In fact, the lighting of the Varvelt battles in general looks really, really dark. What is this red portal thing? I have an immediate suspicion what that is, but I don't actually know. We'll discuss it in a sec. Yeah, okay, cool. Fantastic. I'm so excited. That looks so good. Okay, let's go through it now. We'll take it slow and we will, yeah, kind of see what's hiding in this trailer. Oh, man. So immediately it starts with this shot of KYORAKU dashing forwards. My first thought when I saw this was it was when he's leading the Gote 13, the charge into Varvelt, but I'm not entirely sure. I actually think it might just be straight up from his fight with Lil Barrow. Because, you know, he does a lot of running around in that fight, so it quite easily could be from that. And then, of course, straight off the bat, they are showing him activating Bankai, and that looks really, really nice. Also, one thing I want to say as well, the artwork in this trailer is all sensationally good. Like, it all looks really nice. I mean, KYORAKU saying Bankai, that is so hype. KYORAKU, of course, being my favourite captain. I can't wait to see how they translate his Bankai into the anime. I'm very excited to see that. I mean, they clearly know that's a huge draw of this trailer because it's up front. It's right at the end of the Bankai montage. Very excited. Right, so immediately you have Ichigo fighting. Now, that initial shot, I reckon, is possibly him fighting Yhwach because the lighting implies that the ceiling has been destroyed somewhat, likely from Ichigo's Getsuga Tensho. So this first bit is Ichigo. This is now Ichigo versus Uryū, as he's, like, deflecting the arrows like crazy. They're coming at him from all sides. Yhwach doesn't really fire arrows like that, so this has got to be Uryū. So this is a proper Ichigo versus Uryū fight at last. I said it all through the marketing campaign of part 2. It wasn't correct, but this time I think it actually is. So it looks really, really nice. Ichigo running as these blue explosions go up behind him. That's really awesome. And then we're back to what I think is Ichigo versus Yhwach, now that the lighting is bright again. That gold Ryatsu, by the way, God, looks so nice, doesn't it? That's so good. And he's bringing his blade round to Yhwach. Now, so obviously all of that Ichigo versus Uryū stuff, that was new, because they do have a brief clash in the Soul King's throne room, but it's absolutely nothing like that. So that's all new. This shot here of Ichigo bringing his blade round to Yhwach's eye, I think is also new. Now again, they have a brief clash in the Soul King's throne room, but I don't recall anything like this happening. So this is new again, I think. Then we have Ichibe using Futen Taisatsuryo. That looks really cool. That's an awesome visual effect. Everything is kind of black and white except for the outline is done in a blood red. That's really, really cool. The gravestones all appearing around him. That looks great. Then there is a shot of Ichibe flying towards Yhwach with his blade outstretched. Now, this will join on to a scene we saw in the very first teaser trailer of part 3, where Ichibe's blade is seen going towards Yhwach, and then I think presumably Yhwach defeats him. So I don't know how much this fight is going to be extended. It's kind of hard to say. This shot of Yhwach standing here with the smoke billowing around him, I think that is when Ichigo unleashes his Getsuga Tensho at him and says that, you know, just because I have your blood in me doesn't mean you can tell me what to do. And Yhwach lifts his head and he's like, no, what you do is down to these eyes of mine, you know, that sort of thing. Yeah, then this shot afterwards, this is Yhwach from opening 1. It's a cool shot though, so I'm happy to see it again. This appears to now be once again inside the Soul King's throne room. I'm not entirely sure. Whatever it is, it's new. Most of what we've seen so far is new, which is cool. I can't really work out what that is behind him in this shot. It either looks like the drapes that go in front of Ryo's cocoon, or it could be in Varvelt. But I don't think it's in Varvelt because Yhwach is in his old outfit, like he hasn't transformed yet. So this must be in the Soul King's palace. I just don't really know what's going on here. Unless this is him before he stabs the Soul King, so he's making a big grand deal out of it. Then afterwards we see Yhwach kind of like, you know, his Reiatsu going crazy, and he lunges for Ichigo. This is the extended version of their fight at the top of the Soul King Palace, which again is going to be really awesome to see. There's a shot of Yhwach pushing Ichigo kind of off the side of the palace, and you can see one of the Zeroban Riden in the background. Ichigo then, he explodes in a cacophony of gold Reiatsu, and what makes me think he might use Getsuga Jujisho is that you get that golden cross effect, exactly the same as what happened just before he did it against Candice. And it would make sense to see that again, because it was very weird that it never returned. So after this, now this is again a new scene. Yhwach like lifts his hand and it is encased in like a blue reishi fire. I don't know what the heck this is all about, but this is really exciting. This is definitely one of, if not the most fascinating shot to me out of the entire trailer. And I'm just staring at it now, trying to figure out what's going on. I'm moving it frame by frame, basically, to see all of the action. So the Schutzstaffel, Yhwach included, are all standing there with their hands held high, they're raised aloft, and Askin, Gerard, Hashwolf, Leal, Pernida, and Uryū all seem to be firing some kind of blue arrow into the sky that then is dropping back down again upon Yhwach's hand. So they are offering up their power to him, I think. Yhwach then has his hand raised in the center of them all, and he is gathering that blue energy to him. Initially I wasn't sure like what was going on with the ceiling in this room, but I think you can see the wires that were holding the Soul King's cocoon in place. And in fact, there is quite a lot going on in this shot. This is, in case you can't tell, by the way, mostly just a stream of excitable consciousness. I will be releasing a structured, much more concrete breakdown of the trailer to come, where I'm not just essentially rambling. But this shot does intrigue me a lot. You can kind of see in the background the Soul King's cocoon is now red, which implies to me he's already been killed. In fact, as the dust clears, you can see the Soul King's cocoon is split in two. So where it used to be blue, it is now blood red and it is cut in half. So this is after Ichigo has cut the Soul King's cocoon in two. So this is after Ichigo and his friends have been removed from the palace. I'm like gaining more insight in real time. It's kind of coming to me as we speak. So basically they are all giving Yhwach his power, and then if we move along, we can see that he turns that power into his Reishi broadsword, because if you remember from the chapter, Yhwach stabs the Soul King initially, and then Ichigo cuts the Soul King in half with Yhwach's more tangible, actual Quincy sword. Now he is summoning his reishi broadsword that he used to kill Yamamoto, and is seemingly just using it to blow up the palace. So the Soul King is already quote-unquote dead by this point. Mimihagi has presumably been absorbed, although it doesn't look like it necessarily. This is presumably about the time where Yhwach is about to begin the absorption process, begin the transformation into the Soul King. I do wonder why he is using his broadsword to destroy the palace when he detonates it with pure power later on anyway, after he has become the weird eldritch version of Yhwach. So that is kind of strange, but I think that's what's going on here. But obviously, like I said, we will dive into it all deeper in a proper dedicated video. Maybe it's all changing. I've got no idea. That's what's really exciting to me. Maybe this is going to be totally different. Either way, I'm very excited. Then we see a shot of KYORAKU screaming. If I had to guess, right? If I had to guess, because KYORAKU doesn't really scream much, the only thing I can think of is this is him yelling at the rest of the Gotei 13 to run away when Aizen activates Hado 90 Kurohitsugi. It fits. KYORAKU's got his hat on still. Well, I mean, he has his hat on at the start of the Lil Barrow fight anyway, but he doesn't really scream until a bit later on in that fight. So if I had to guess, I would say this is when Aizen is using Hado 90. Like I said before, no sign of Aizen in this trailer, but this is probably the closest we get, I reckon. Afterwards, we get a brief shot of Ukitake blood erupting from his mouth as he activates the Kamikake. We see Mimihagi burst into life. Now, again, this doesn't really look like obvious CG to me. Maybe it is. It's exactly the same kind of texture as when Ukitake revealed the shadow of the Kamikake behind himself at the end of the last season. But yeah, that's really, really cool. Afterwards, we get a very brief moment of Ikkaku, Hisagi, and Yumichika cutting through the eyeball monsters. So this is after Yhwach has sent the monsters down as a kind of surplus of the Soul King's power. Now, here's something that's a little bit strange about this moment, is that the sky is red here, and I thought that at this point, Yhwach had covered the Soul Society in darkness. He'd put like a lid on it or something, he said. So I was expecting the sky to be like a dark purple or a black at this point, but doesn't seem to be the case. Anyway, moving on, this is another brand new scene, Renji activating his Bankai, So Zabimaru. Now, this actually might be giving us something that I was hoping for. I don't remember when it was. I said that I thought the Gerard Valkyrie fight would be a lot better if it kind of went in stages and loads of different characters got the chance to show what they could do. It's their final fight in the series. So what I think is happening here, I think this is Varvelt, because Renji is covered in a purple light, and I think he is using Bankai against Gerard, and I hope that Rukia does the same, because Renji, Rukia, and Byakuya are kind of the first three up against him. I also hope that Shinji doesn't get knocked out immediately, but we'll see about that. But yeah, Renji activating Sora Zabimaru, Golden Reiatsu billowing off of him. I think he's about to challenge Gerard after Gerard has grown enormous. That's very exciting to me. I mean, I think we're all kind of anticipating the Gerard fight being slightly different anyway, but that's what I think is going on there, and I would really love to see Rukia's Bankai one more time. Hopefully the anime understands that this is the last hurrah for a lot of these characters, at least unless the Hell Arc happens, and so now it's the time to actually let them let loose. And that goes for the Vizards as well. Let's not have them get knocked out in one hit, please. Anyway, moving on, Mayuri escaping the explosion. This is after he detonates his sun suit. And you can see as well he has the Herenkyaku boots on, which is really cool. This is him activating Bankai. This fight, the lighting is very dark. I'm not sure if it's too dark or not yet. It's creepy, and I think that's very thematically fitting for Mayuri versus Pernida, so I've not got too much of an issue. I mean, I don't necessarily want fights like Askin versus Kisuke and Yoruichi to be super dark, so we'll see how it turns out, I guess. But yeah, that's a really awesome moment. Now, we have another interesting new scene. Uryū drawing his bow and arrow, but where is he? He looks like he's in Varvelt to me, because there are Quincy buildings around him. That Quincy building looks kind of weird, I'm not going to lie, but Uryū is moving through Varvelt, taking on opponents. Are we going to get more brand new fights? Or is this the start of his battle with Hashwolf? That's highly possible as well, as that is, well... No, that's probably not going to happen in this season, actually. What is that, like chapter 659, something like that? That's probably not going to happen yet. So this is going to be something new, I think. Uryū making his way through Varvelt, maybe continuing to fight Ichigo, I don't know. However, up next, Uryū versus Senjumaru. So Senjumaru is sending Uryū's own tapestry after him. That is the design that was Uryū's tapestry. He is skating through the air to get away from it, which is really cool. You can see a slight gleam of red on his outline, which implies he is still within the boundaries of Senjumaru's Bankai. Interestingly, Uryū, we get a close-up of his eyes as Bleach kind of activates in his eyes. I have no idea what this really means, but it is a callback to when Uryū seemingly prepares for the battle in the Royal Palace in episode 24, I think it was, and you get a close-up of his eyes and Bleach Vein activated on them, and we didn't really know what that was all about. That was just before, I think, he activated the Antithesis to help Yuha Bark escape the Cage of Life. So there is something going on here with Uryū's eyes. I don't really know what it is, I'll be honest with you. Then we get a cool thing where he is, like, leaping through the air backwards. I mean, the animation as well, by the way, looks absolutely incredible. I wonder if this is down to the extra time. I wonder if this is down to the Pierrot Films thing they've got going on. I think that was what it's called. Pierrot Studio, something like that. I mean, it's very awesome. I don't know. I think it looks fantastic. That Uryū moment, I don't know who that's against, because actually, you know what? If I had to guess what this Uryū moment where he's leaping backwards and firing a bunch of arrows, the lighting kind of looks like the Royal Realm. I think this is after he escapes Senjumaru's Bankai, however he does it. So clearly, though, the fight isn't over the moment Senjumaru's Bankai disappears. Okay. Now, this is probably the most exciting shot in the entire trailer for me, because I don't have a clue what is going on here. I don't have a clue. For the first time, I can basically I have no idea. Hashwolf is standing in front of a gigantic red, like blood red portal that is like moving and twisting. What the hell is this? I've got absolutely no idea. This I don't know. This is a room we've never seen before. He's like at the end of some long pathway. It kind of looks like the room is purpose built to hold the portal. There's like kind of arched roof that's like looming over it. If I had to guess, right, and I do have to guess because that's what I want to do, this is a Gate of the Sun. That's about the only thing I can think of. That's the only thing I can think of, which is what the Quincy used to move between realms. Now, Hashwolf mentions to Uryū that there is a Gate of the Sun set up to facilitate an invasion into the human world, but that he destroys it so that Uryū's friends can't escape. Now, I kind of wonder if maybe that's what we're seeing here, Hashwolf about to destroy the Gate of the Sun, perhaps. That's the only thing I can even remotely think that this is. But I would love to hear what you think anyway. Because that one is, I don't know. I think it's maybe that, or maybe the Gate of the Sun won't be destroyed and the invasion to the human world will actually happen, which would be extremely exciting. But I mean, at that point, it's a completely different story. Then we get our lone shot of Basby in the trailer, which of course is a prelude to the Friend saga. Very exciting. I'm very, very excited to see that. I really, really hope they give us an extension on the Sternritter's backstory. Speaking of the Sternritter, we get to see all 4 members of the Schutzstaffel, which is really awesome. Gerard is... Well, again, this is weird because with this trailer, you have to take lighting into account because that gives you major clues as to where things are happening. Gerard, the lighting here is that of the Royal Palace. So maybe Senjumaru is taken down by all members of the Schutzstaffel once they all get free. Anyway, up next we have Pernida. Again, this is a bit of a spoiler. This is quite a big spoiler, I think, for people who haven't read the source material. But this is when it reveals itself, when it rips open its hood, and that is when you first see it. Again, very, very dark. The lighting in this fight is super dark. But Pernida, to me, that doesn't look like CG. Maybe I'm wrong. I was concerned that it would be CG, but it doesn't look like it is. I'm not entirely sure. Like I said a minute ago, I think the main hand will hopefully be hand-drawn, and the clones will be... I can imagine them being CG, but I'm happy with how Pernida looks. Up next, we have my boy Askian kind of going like that. I think this is probably when he defeats Grimjo as he's doing the finger guns thing, and that's when he says to Grimjo, you know, didn't your mummy ever tell you not to take anything off strangers, not to take gifts from strangers, after Grimjo hits his gift ball and goes down for the count. I think that's probably what this is, but I mean, I could be wrong. I think it's probably that, though. And then we get a shot of Uryū, which is, of course, when he's probably sniping the vice captains and stuff like that. Hopefully we will get a better idea of who actually goes down, because that was always slightly annoying. Then we get to see Uryū activating his Volston dish in front of KYORAKU. That looks so cool. Again, they are still going with the green light. The fleur-de-lis cross looking really, really awesome. That is going to be a spectacular fight. We have a shot here of Nanao. This actually, I've just worked out, because that appears to be Kenpachi on the side, is when she's telling Kenpachi not to go after Yachiru, and he needs to stay there and help them out. Again, though, what's a little weird about this is the lighting doesn't seem to match what I would expect it to, because they are still inside the Shinigami's light field headquarters at this point, so I would have thought they would all be covered in like a white light or a gold light. So it's possible Kenpachi has actually made it outside. Urahara didn't stop him in time, but then Nanao goes after him and tells him, you know, you need to get back in there because we need your help. That's an assumption on my part. Mayuri looking awesome, his face just looking incredibly creepy. This is at the end of one of the early chapters in his fight when he has to redo his arm and he's sweating and he says, you know, you're going to need to do more than that to kill me, Pernida. That's really cool. Nemu's eye, you know, as she's witnessing Mayuri about to die. We just talked about that in a recent video dedicated to Nemu. So they are kind of showing us snippets of the big battles of this arc, but it does also feel like there's going to be quite a bit of new stuff. So then we have Ichigo. His arm is being controlled by Yhwach's blood that's flowing through his veins. He's wielding Yhwach's sword. This is, of course, just as he cuts down the Soul King, essentially. Which, again, you know, that's really awesome. And then here we have the continuation of Ichigo versus Yhwach a little bit later than that, after the Soul King has been killed, when Ichigo's trying to hold Yhwach's arm back. Yhwach appears to break free, and this is when Ichigo is about to activate Getsuga Tensho. This is the Getsuga Tensho that destroys a big chunk of the top of the palace and forces their fight outside, as we saw at the start of the trailer. So that's quite a nice way to end it. It's a cyclical way to end the trailer, it feels like. The two of them clash. That's going to be really awesome as well, I think. Really awesome. And then, of course, we've been having the poem between Yhwach and Hashwolf kind of playing over the background, which is really, really awesome. I am very excited for this, man. I cannot wait. I think that looks great. I think it looks great. October. Still got a few months to go, but at least now we can really begin to ramp up. We can really... we can really get excited. We can really get excited. It's coming. It is coming. So yeah, yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot. I'm very excited and a little overwhelmed as well. And so finally then, before we end this live reaction, I just want to go to this Reddit post and have a look, because there was some more information that came out about Part 3 thanks to an interview with the chief series director, the series director, and the producer. The commenter Kelvin Too Good has posted some highlights here, which we're just going to go over briefly. Part 3 will show a lot of brand new, never-before-seen content. They worked with Kubo to create new scenes that would complement the source material. I mean, that's pretty obvious from the trailer itself. They're already unabashedly showing a bunch of absolutely new stuff, which is very exciting to me. There will be a lot more CGI in this part, and to expect epic visuals. Now, that's kind of interesting. From the trailer, there isn't that much CGI in there that I noticed anyway. Like I said, I thought that Pernida wasn't CG, but I could be wrong about that. It kind of looked like maybe the eyeball monsters were that Ikkaku and Hisagi and Yumichika were fighting, but really, that's all I kind of saw. Epic visuals, though, I feel like that's, again, already pretty obvious from the trailer itself. This next one's interesting. Mentioned more captains performing Bankai in this part, particularly one that readers of the source material should already know will reveal theirs for the first time, and that it's a particular highlight of the Cour. That's KYORAKU, of course. The trailer really felt like it was building up to that moment at the start there with that Bankai montage, but more captains performing Bankai in this part. I wonder if that just means the new Bankai in this part, so KYORAKU and Mayuri's altered Bankai. I think that's it. Or if we will get more Bankai than were used at this point in the source material. So I kind of wonder, will that include the Vizard? Love is there. Would he use Bankai? I would love to see that. No pun intended. Ukitake, is there any chance to see his Bankai here as well? He's supposed to be getting extra scenes, so you know, you have to wonder. Ukitake feels a little weird to me. That feels very unlikely because of the way his story pans out. It doesn't look like he have a lot of chance to use Bankai. But yeah, or again, it could just be that characters who have used Bankai already now get the chance to do so again. So like Renji does seem to be using it against Gerard, like I mentioned. I really hope that Rukia gets a chance to show hers off again as well. They mentioned that they're trying something new with the opening and endings for this Cour. I don't really know what that means. I like the songs though, especially the opening. I think sounds like something really good, and as always, I can't wait to see what they're like, what they actually show. And then mentioned that Yhwach's Royal Guard will have power-ups and transformations that will be animated beyond the quality of the source. That's quite a bold statement, and hope that people can look forward to that. I mean, I'm excited. I'm definitely looking forward to it. I don't know what exactly that means. Animated beyond the quality of the source. Again, like I said, it's quite bold. So basically, what I think that probably means is, well, I don't know for sure. I don't know. But I kind of wonder if all of them will get new Volstendish, or at least extended additional forms, maybe? Kind of like how Leal has 2 forms, essentially, that transform him into some kind of seraphim, angel-like creature. Maybe they'll all get something like that? Certainly Gerard and Pernida. Pernida, I think we will properly see its holy form here, because we did see the basic version in Season 2, which was brand new. Askin, I feel like he probably should kind of stay how he is, though, because that's part of his charm. But I don't know, we'll have to wait and see. But I think that's probably it for this first look at the newest trailer for Part 3 of the 1000-Year Blood War Arc anime. The new Cour is coming in October, so there's not too much longer to wait. And as always, I can't wait to live react to it with you every single week, as we have done for the last 2 seasons as well, and then do deep dive episode reviews to follow. I kind of talked a lot more in this video than I was expecting to, so I apologize for that. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got something out of it, maybe saw something that you didn't know was there previously. I don't know. Let me know if I miss anything down in the comments as well. I would love to hear all of your thoughts on this trailer. What did you think? Are you excited? Are you impressed by this trailer? What do you think of some of the new scenes here as well? It does kind of look like we are finally going to actually get ICHIGO versus Uryū, which I've been harping on about for ages now. And I'm very, very excited about the direction things are going. That whole sequence where the Schutzstoff will give Yhwach the power to conjure his Reishi broadsword, and then he uses that to destroy the Soul King Palace. That's completely new. And the sequence with Hashwolf in front of what I can only assume is a Gate of the Sun. But there's a lot going on here. There's a lot going on here, and I'm very, very excited. Alright guys, but that is it for the video. As always, I really do hope you enjoyed it. As always, I want to end the video by saying a massive thank you and giving a huge shout out to my wonderful supporters over on Patreon. I really do appreciate each and every one of you so very much, and couldn't do this without you. If you like what I do here over on YouTube, you too can support me for as little as $1 a month. Doing so will get your name in the credits just like this, and for $2 a month, you can get every video I release absolutely ad-free. Alright guys, but until next time, I'll catch you later, and I'll see you then.